Welcome to round 2 of the 2022 Las Vegas Challenge. This is the first Disc Golf Pro Tour event of the year, and today we are looking at the Innova Disc course. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. This is Two Hot Geese commentary.
Honk. Today we get to watch Paige Pierce, Catrina Allen, both in the lead with 8 down. Kristin Tattar at 6 down, just 2 strokes behind, and tied with Natalie Ryan, also at 6 down. This is one of Natalie's first times being on lead card at a Pro Tour event.
Yeah, definitely.
Super excited to watch her go to Crushtown on this course.
To watch a new face for sure.
Yeah.
Hole 1 is a par 3, 353 feet. There's out of bounds on the right, that cart path there. If you want to attack, you kind of want to go around the right side of that tree and hyzer in. You can also throw straight and try to fade something to the right.
We had nice calm conditions this morning. It was a little chilly again, but not super windy, just like the practice rounds. Lots of room to work on this hole. Really the only out of bounds you have to worry about is that cart path. You see Paige pushing that tree like Erika said, and she finds herself inside the circle.
Obviously. Paige, the winner of last year's event. She's won this event, I believe, 4 times in the past. Catrina has won it 3 times.
Catrina with her new disc, still coming out strong.
Also that outfit, though.
Yeah. Ooh, playing with the cart path and sneaks back in. Backboarding off the fence post.
That was a vortex, and it did a really good job to get back in bounds for a pretty close birdie look.
I can't wait to watch Kristin Tattar. I am a huge fan.
This is the new Orbit plastic from Latitude 64. It's a Grace, and she'll have a look at it from maybe just inside the circle.
Natalie Ryan pushing the right side just like you're supposed to.
Yeah, you can tell immediately
Wow.
that she has that upper echelon of distance, and she's keeping up. Doesn't look like she's nervous to be on the lead card with all these stellar players.
Who knows what's going on inside, though?
I mean,
she's got to be a little nervous.
She's not showing it.
Yeah. Kristin giving it a good bid. Catrina taking her meter in of relief off of that out-of-bounds cart path.
I'm obsessed with this color coordination. Like, let's stop talking about disc golf.
How do you find shoes that match your pants so well?
Wow. Excellent conversion.
She's like, I'm going to make you guys stop talking about my outfit by playing amazing.
That was an excellent putt, Catrina. Paige a little bit closer for her birdie. Man, they're all, like, parked. This isn't easy, everyone.
It's such a difficult angle to get the full 350.
Oh, dang. Little misfire from Paige.
Although it looks like it's downhill, with the basket elevated up on this hill, it doesn't play downhill at all. You don't get that little extra bit of distance. Natalie having a similar issue, just chaining out to the left side. First hole, little jitters.
So Catrina with the only birdie, right?
Yep, and there was only 3 birdies on the day in the FPO field. Caitlin Belty and Rebecca Cox also finding the 2.
Conditions were pretty similar to yesterday. There is some wind. It definitely kind of picks up at different times, and you have to think about it, but it's not the gale force Vegas that sometimes we have to deal with.
Hole 2 is one of the shortest holes on the course at 270 feet. It's a par 3. Thanks to discbarn.com for sponsoring the drone footage all weekend long at the Las Vegas Challenge. Go check out them on their discbarn.com website. They have a ton of discs available. They're based out of Dallas, Texas.
This hole is kind of all about keeping under the trees and working the ground play, unless you're Catrina and then you air shot it the whole way. But yeah, angle control, keeping it underneath the trees, definitely what you're trying to do here.
One of the few holes on the course where we get to contend with some trees, mimic some woods golf.
That is a buzz from Paige. Beautiful. Absolutely parked.
Absolutely perfect distance control.
This is an Opto Claymore. It's very straight flying mid-range from Latitude 64. And fades out a little but gets a favorable tree kick, so she's very close as well. Disc golf is easy, folks. Just look at them do it. And then Natalie said that she throws this Castaplast Berg on almost every approach shot. I think that's what it was. Boy, she outdrove it.
This played is one of the easiest holes on the course with 32% of the field with a birdie. Natalie all over the basket, just a little bit high this time.
Catrina with some low-hanging branches to contend with.
Oh.
Got it.
This is like a lot of the greens we see on the Infinite Disc course, the one we played yesterday. A lot of little bushes and trees and low-hanging limbs to deal with. But we won't see as much of that today. A lot more wide-open greens, but a lot of dangerous greens with OB coming in close inside the circle. Taking her time, full routine, the par, and move on.
Yeah, sometimes this green can be distracting with all the cars and people walking behind. So it's going to take your time. Paige with an absolute tap in for her birdie.
One benefit about this course is this is one of the few holes that does have a lot of action. Everything else is pretty well protected and away from the mayhem that's at Tournament Central.
Hole 3 can be a little bit tricky with this water on the left side and the cart path behind the pin. There's also a new OB line on the right. This drone flight is the sidearm line that I think is taken less often. A lot of people are going to hyzer around the right and just skip it to the pin. Anything out of bounds goes to the drop zone, which is across the water and is basically an automatic 4.
Yeah, the drop zone is still 110 feet away from the basket, so it's, if anything, a throw-in on an elevated basket. You won't see a lot of people going for it.
Paige ripping on a zone here. And the out-of-bounds line, you can see that string there is pretty far off of the water, so she will have to proceed to the drop zone.
Yeah, if you catch those branches, it's pretty much done for. At that point, you will filter towards out-of-bounds. There's the high play like Paige was, and like we see Kristin doing, or there's a lower play where you can play the skip in to the green.
Oh, man. Kristin also catches some of those branches and will have to proceed to the drop zone.
I'm kind of surprised to not see them working the skip a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, they both threw kind of lower speed discs, and it was a headwind, so it really, with a slight right to left. So I think the wind played with it more than they expected. Catrina adjusting so well.
Yeah, buzzing the tower in the bullseye.
That was an SP line quake. Natalie throwing the wide line, and it looks good. It just needs to check up. And
this is the Berg again?
I think so. She didn't send me a full
disc
list. She basically just said
that seems
Berg
like a
all day.
That seems like a perfect Berg shot. Paige from that 110-foot drop zone lays it up nicely. That cart path comes into play at probably 30 feet behind the pin. Kristin opting for the sidearm. She'll have to contend with that tree on her putt.
Yeah, it can be tricky. It's not the hardest drop zone to, just lay up and take your 4, but there's 2 trees that definitely are in the way.
Oh, man. More metal drawn by Natalie Ryan.
Yeah, it could be some nerves. We'll see if she can dial it in as the round continues. Kristin forced to go to a knee to try to get around this little tree.
Oh.
It's brutal. She'll have to take a double bogey there.
This hole played at a perfect 33, 33, 33.
All right.
Under par, par, and above par.
For those of you trying to design your own course, that's pretty much ideal.
While we do have a couple of short holes in a row, the course starts to stretch out as we move on. It is not the longest course on the property, but it is the second longest course on the property, although they're all pretty comparable.
All right, checking in here. Got a few people under par who went off earlier. Catrina, obviously, 2 down through 3, killing it. Lead card is the same so far. We'll see if any of the chase card ladies can reel them in.
Yeah, I think the front 9 is the most birdieable. There is some nice longer par 5s in the back that you can catch some birdies on, but you want to get the short birdies early on this course. This 377-foot par 3 is a good example of one that not a lot of people will be getting.
But they probably all will get birdies.
Actually, you know what? They can. They can. Yeah. It's a tricky shot, though. You have to throw kind of uphill through a gauntlet of tiny trees. You want it to carry out past the plateau that the trees are on and still maintain some turn before finishing out onto the green. There is an out-of-bounds cart path behind the basket, but it doesn't really come into play on the drive unless you really go wild. This little lane used to be so much more open. These trees have grown up pretty significantly in the past couple of years.
It now forces this exact shot that Natalie threw. Oh, she catches such a bad roll. Stay.
Oh my gosh, in, out, in, out.
She really nailed the angle on that, though. You want to throw it with a little bit of anhyzer and some air under it so that it can come back and fade out to the left. It was so close to perfect.
Paige doesn't quite get over on it. It'll hyzer out to the left. It'll be a chance out of 3. It's hard to call it an easy 3 after that because where the basket's perched, you can so easily on your layup kick up and roll.
True of every hole on the property.
True.
And Kristin not quite getting over on it either, but hopefully those are just some easy pars. Catrina, not the easiest par. She's going standstill. That's her Christine King breaker.
Right under the pin. Kristin again opting for that sidearm approach. Matching the angle of the hill, landing softly.
Yeah, good correction from the last shot. It's so great to have Kristin, as well as some of the Finns and all our international players back in the States. We missed them last year.
Yeah, we did. We really love this historically high FPO average rating in the field. It's so cool to feel really good about your game, and then you look at the leaderboard and there's like 20 people beating you.
Well, this is the closest I've ever seen scores. Mm-hmm. Like we're getting very competitive,
yes,
which is awesome. Natalie from out of bounds, unable to save the par, and has a tester coming back as well. It's like a right to left, pretty, hefty wind there.
It's about the windiest I saw it today.
She'll take a double there. So important in this game to try to stop the bleeding and minimize your errors. That was a good putt, though. That wasn't a gimme.
This course feels more like a marathon than most courses that we play on tour. I don't know what it is. It's not even that long. It's just requires an insane amount of focus on every single shot because of those hilly greens.
A single shot where you're not thinking about the out of bounds or the rolls or the wind or the water. All the geese, in your way.
There was one birdie today. Hopefully the geese are crossing your mind. There was one birdie today. Cat Merch got the 2.
Awesome.
Champion, Catrina Allen! World champion, James
Thank you all for joining us on this post-produced coverage. If you do want to check out the action live, go ahead and subscribe to the Disc Golf Network. Check them out. You can see it in real time. Here's our first par 5 of the day. It's 666 feet, and as such, it is eagleable and very, very birdieable. This is a new pin location. It used to be farther to the left. There is a cart path to the right. This first shot, you're just trying to throw something in the middle. I know that sounds stupid, but that's what you're trying to do. And then you have to decide whether you're going to lay up or try to go for the green.
It does give a little bit of an advantage to be further to the left. It opens up your second shot to the green instead of having to throw more of a turnover or a distant sidearm. But in reality, all shots, like Erika said, in the middle are A-okay.
Generally true of all disc golf holes. Paige with a Zeus here. This looks solid. Paige and Catrina getting great distance. And Paige a little on that left side, like you mentioned, opens up the next shot.
Kristin opting for the right side of the tree.
It can really work, but it's
risky.
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah. I love that play. It's very aggressive. I feel like it gives you a little ability to give some more distance. Although you can see, is that Catrina right there?
Yeah. I mean, it cuts the angle, so it's a little bit shorter. And if you have something like her Grace that's going to definitely fade back, as long as you hit the line, like it's a pretty safe play, honestly. And that is too far left. Likely going to force Natalie to lay up here, which still means she can get a birdie.
Yep. Perfect placement.
This green is tricky. That cart path kind of wraps pretty close on the right side and behind it. And it's, as always, perched on a hillside. And that green is pretty close, too, within the circle.
There is some room behind the basket. God.
That was gorgeous.
That was gorgeous. I mean, that had to have been a 300-foot sidearm.
Yeah, and to control the landing so it doesn't skip down that hill. That's often what you see is people coming in too hot and then leaving themselves with like a 30-footer going uphill.
Paige gets some grip lock. You can hear it. Hoping for it to land safe, and it sure does. There's some room on the back there.
Safe, and also like that's the typical spot I think for people going for the eagle, to just trickle down that hillside.
Catrina opting for the sidearm, putting it out over that green, looking for a nice soft skip. No problem.
Excellent shot. Kristin and Catrina showing great trust in their discs, kind of landing short and then checking up right next to the pin.
Natalie still just looking for that birdie after that errant tee shot.
That wasn't a terrible roll, but,
Nope.
you know, when you absolutely park something, it's always a bummer to still have a little bit of a putt.
Here's Paige for eagle. Boom.
Awesome. Let's see that one more time. I love her step putt style here. Full extension. She said higher, but I mean, it was like dead center. Bless you. Catrina for her eagle.
Two eagles on one card.
Yeah.
Wait, we still have Kristin too for her
Right.
eagle, right?
Yep. And she's
Are we going to see 3 eagles on one card?
3 eags.
3 eags. 3 goals. Someone had to do it. Someone had to do it. Nice birdie recovery from Natalie.
Is that 7 down for our card?
Unbelievable.
Math.
Oh, tap in. The 3 goal. Hole 6 is a downhill 222-foot par 3, one of the scariest holes on the course, even though it is one of the shortest. There's out of bounds on the left, right in front of that palmetto, and out of bounds wrapping all the way around the backside past the little coots that we can see running across the green. There was a pretty hefty head crosswind right to left on this hole. Just basically put it out over the water and trust. Catrina lets that wind get the best, and hopefully it lays down. Yep, she gets a green flag. She'll have a tester putt going at the water, but she is safe.
I think the way to really park this hole is to, out of your hand, think, oh shit, I threw it wrong. Like,
That's true though. That is
you're like,
true.
oh man, I didn't do it. And then, yo, no, you parked it.
Yep. It's a super scary committing shot. Especially that palm tree that we see Kristin look like she's going to hit in her backswing. You kind of want to push that tree as well. And
Wow.
what a shot.
She parks it. Paige, unfortunately, a little bit long, and then that wall doesn't actually save you. The OB line is off of the wall by a couple feet.
Natalie doing what Erika said, where it looks like, oh, no. Oh.
Not quite. It was close. Just too much of a straight skip.
Even though she did cross in right there, she will still, everything that is out of bounds, you still go from this scary drop zone towards the water. It drops off no more than 5 feet behind the basket directly down into the water.
You know she's running it, though.
Oh, yeah. You don't get on the lead card by not running it.
I give it the world's softest run. Just really high and try to helicopter it in.
Ooh. Looks like it grabbed.
It's hard to make your body putt fully when the water is right behind it.
Yep. Catrina just outside the circle with an equally scary putt. Gives it a bid. "35% of the field with a birdie on this hole." That's about what you'd expect. This was another one of those holes that split up almost perfectly, 30-30-30. Love to see it.
What happened to the other 10?
Math. Geese aren't good at math. It is nice to get the birdie on this hole, though, before we head into the next hole, which is, in my opinion, one of the hardest holes on all 3 courses.
Absolutely. You have to hang this out over the water and trust your disc. Look at this tiny little strip of fairway. The cart path is out of bounds. The water is obviously out of bounds. The big crushers can find this green, which is out of bounds. And I even saw people land in this hazard.
Off the tee.
Off the tee.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's tiny little green. All out-of-bounds shots proceed to the drop zone, which is that 2 little red wooden pegs there.
How many people on our card here do you think are going for the basket?
I don't know. Like,
I could see some of them trying. Kristin laying up
I feel
before
like
the green.
Katrina's gonna do it. Kristin, that was a great shot. And really, I feel like the green is so sketchy. Like, unless you land in the hazard, if you're OB, you then have to go to the drop zone, which isn't the worst thing. Like, you can save your par from the drop zone, but it's not the easiest, you know?
Yep, Catrina laying up before the green as well. Okay, maybe we won't see people. I don't know. The FPO field is getting so much better so quickly. The sky's the limit. I would just expect them all to go for it.
That's what I'm saying. I saw 2 people land in the bunker, but I don't know if they were going for it or if they just, like, hulked out accidentally.
Tournament arm.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Paige
Finds that rock wall.
That's what it looked like. I thought she was going to make it. She's probably just barely in the water.
We had a pretty stiff headwind. Well, when my card came through, it was head right to left cross, but it looks like it's a left to right cross here.
Oh, that doesn't look like it's going to have a chance of coming back. Maybe I'm wrong, but that is massive.
Oof.
Man, it tried.
Coming around the backside of the green. Yeah. There's some space over there, too.
I would guess that 50% of the field did not land in bounds on the first throw.
Let's see. I wish there was a way. Yeah, the stats don't have the OB count, but I feel like you're right. If it's not 50%, it's higher.
The men, too, though. Like, it's not an easy hole. And I really like that play from Paige to kind of land it on the green and let it kind of slide up to the pin. That bunker on the right, I think, is really easy to find. Honestly, the one on the left is not much harder to find.
I mean, there's about 30 feet total in between the 2 bunkers.
Not even.
Not even. You don't even get a full circle on any side.
Ooh. Nice.
Checks up. It is not an easy drop zone.
But I think it's so fair, though. Like, you can definitely save your par. Unlike, hole 3. Really nice. No question on that one. And Kristin, our only player in bounds on the card here. She's leaning on that forehand harp upshot, and she's there for the birdie.
While 17% of the field got a birdie on this hole, over 50% of the field with a bogey or worse.
Ouch. Ooh. Kind of nicks that band up top, but it drops straight down. Gives it a little pat. Good job, basket. Kristin in for the birdie.
Oh, it does say 37% of the field with a fairway hit. So I would say,
that's low.
yeah, if you're off fairway, you're pretty much out of bounds. So I would say that seems like 37% of the field landed in bounds off the tee.
Brutal.
That's brutal.
It's just so much danger.
Mm-hmm. I think we'll see that number improve significantly in round 4 as you get a little bit more comfortable with what disc you want to throw. It's really hard with 3 courses to get all the practice rounds in you want.
Great birdie from Catrina as well. Wait.
Hole 8 is a downhill par 4. It's 427 feet. It's a big turnover or a big sidearm if you're Kristin Tattar. Thanks again to the Disc Barn for the drone coverage. They picked up Gannon Burr this year, and he found himself on the lead card in MPO. So y'all check that out and go check the discbarn.com out because they support GKPRO and they support the Two Hot Geese. There is an out-of-bounds cart path on the left-hand side that can come into play if you don't turn it over enough and it hyzers out. That cart path wraps around on the backside. There is out-of-bounds on the right as well, but it's a big, tall fence that goes into people's yards, and it doesn't really come into play. There's too many trees to let it come into play.
Wow, look at that line. That was amazing. That was a grand rive, and I thought it was too hyzered out of her hand and too early, but it kind of flipped up, and she got a full flight out of it.
Yeah, this was a pretty stiff headwind when my card went through. It looks like it's about the same here. Definitely helping those discs turn over and hold that line.
But definitely bringing these trees into play a little bit more.
100%.
They are calling this a par 4 this year, kind of that classic Vegas tweener hole that we see all the time. It's been a par 3, I think, in every year prior to this. Oh, man.
Paige keeping it low, keeping it out of the wind, but a little too low. Hits those early palmettos, but filters down to the bottom.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it like cut roll.
Natalie showing off the sidearm as well. A great play for this left to right hole. And yeah, it's kind of the classic mistake. Just end up in those trees right there. Show some difficult footing next to that palm tree.
It's really tricky to throw your disc and get it to hold the angle correctly that you want for as long as you want with that stiff of a wind going that steeply downhill.
Yeah, there's just so much air under the disc.
Yes, so much time for it to mess up.
I believe that's a Raptor from Paige, and she is close, within 20, I think.
Even though the cart path is still about outside the circle on the backside, it's so hard for it not to get in your head because this green is super rocky and slippery, and you can so quickly get a flare skip out of bounds or slide deep.
Catrina looking like she's been throwing DGA her whole life. She did mention to me that it's been a really smooth transition. It's honestly amazing to see, one off season, and she's winning by 4 at the moment.
Mm-hmm. It's cool. I think they're just acknowledging her past and letting that be enough. And whatever happens in the future is just a bonus. That's cool. It's got to be comforting as a player to not have to feel like you have to prove yourself.
Natalie for a long look at birdie. She's got that little tree in her way.
Woo!
Oh, yeah, highlight.
Love that. Those are the best kind of putts. In the wind, no big deal.
Especially, to save something after kind of not the best upshot.
Mm-hmm.
This is beautiful. Around that tree branch.
With the full follow through.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Awesome.
And she's been all over the basket all day.
Love me some GK replays. Paige a little farther than I thought, actually.
Me too.
Actually, a lot farther than I thought.
I thought she was right outside the bullseye. Gives it a floaty bid.
4 on this one feels like a bogey.
It does. 48% of the field with a birdie. Definitely on the high side.
Kristin taking second for the first time.
No slowing down with that powerful sidearm and the consistent backhand.
Yeah, one of the few female players who has powerful of both of those types of shots.
You can see Paige with the thick jacket. It stayed cold out there. It stayed cold all day. It stayed chilly just because of the wind.
Yeah, the breeze. All right, wrapping it up here. Hole 9 is a par 4. You have to shoot down this tunnel. There is no OB initially off the tee, but then it gets really hairy on the second shot. You can see this bunker is right in front of the pin, which has moved. It used to be on the short side of the bunker, and now it's on the far side on a hill, of course, with a cart path maybe 20 feet behind it, which is out of bounds.
This is one of the scariest greens on the course.
It's definitely much harder now. I mean, they probably only moved it, 30, 40 feet, but it used to be really easy to get the birdie look if you got out of the tunnel, which unfortunately Kristin does not. But now, I mean, it takes quite a bit of distance.
I would have said hole 7, the water hole, was the hardest hole on the course, but this is actually the hardest hole on the course today.
I guess it's a little surprising. Catrina catching a little bit of those branches on the right, and that's well short. I mean, they're playing for par, both Kristin and Catrina. Let's see if Natalie can get out of the gap. Struggling.
This is another one of my favorite holes on the course because you have to contend with this tree line.
Yeah,
on your
one of
first
the
shot.
few times
And
you
it's
have
a
to deal with the trees.
And it's a long tunnel, too.
It is.
It's probably 300 feet to get to the end of the tunnel.
And that's a good line, but I think it's too low. Yeah, it hits that one last guardian tree. And that is surprising to not see any of them get out of the tunnel.
But
I mean,
those
Katrina
limbs
kinda
have
is.
grown up a lot.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been playing at this location for, let's see, 7 years?
Yep.
Something like that.
6 or 7.
And you really are starting to feel the trees grow up.
Katrina still gets some distance out there, but she'll be settling right now for par at best. Kristin with a pretty terrible lie, but making it work,
Yeah,
getting it out there in the open.
she'll definitely have a chance to save her par there. She's probably, maybe 200 away? Oh, this is a teeny little gap.
Natalie's still going to full send this.
Well, it's out.
Always a chance you're going to find that tree with a gap that small.
Still moving.
Well, she says it's out, so hopefully she can send a full rip on this one. That tree is really close, though. That's got to be in the way of her backswing a little bit.
I'm wondering if she'll throw a sidearm here.
Oh, man, she's so close to it. This always makes me nervous.
Me too. Maybe a little abbreviated follow through. There we go. Okay.
All right.
All right. I was nervous.
Oh, man.
That's fine. She's way out there. Still a tough approach, though.
Yeah, now she's playing for bogey.
Just no big deal. You have to throw at, 25 feet of open area?
I would say unless you're in the bullseye, like, you're not safe by any means.
100%.
Um,
Got a
okay.
disc.
Paige
It's
is
still flying.
right there.
Same tree.
Yeah. She gets a bit of a better mark in front of the tree, though she still has to go patent pending. Full commitment. And pretty similar spot to, I think, Catrina and Natalie.
Paige still has. Oh, I can't see the basket. Oh, okay. Every bit
Maybe
of 150
150?
feet. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just slides it right up along the edge of the bunker.
I'm sure that was a fierce from her.
Kristin again opting for that sidearm approach. Putting it out wide, letting it skip back. Maybe a little more air under than she wants. Oh.
Bummer. Yeah, I like the idea a little bit lower. And Natalie also kind of pushing that bunker. Yeah, they have pretty steep lips on the bunker. It's hard to skip out of them. And Catrina, shortest upshot of the group. I do think a forehand is the smartest play with the shape of the green. And that was picture perfect.
There's only 3 birdies on the day. Haley King, Jennifer Allen, and Hope Brown getting the 3s. And man, that's an impressive 3. I would be stoked. That feels like an eagle.
Yeah, I was on the card with Jen and Haley, and they make
Good
it look
drives.
so easy. Yeah, good everything. Natalie, a little high. And I think is that a triple bogey for her? Really rough hole.
Nice recovery from Kristin to save the bogey.
And great job getting the par after not getting off the tee perfectly. Both Paige and Catrina.
This course is really hard to escape off of without getting bogeys. They're so, with all those close out of bounds to the baskets, you have to be okay with getting a bogey and shaking it off. It's so hard not to get at least 1 or 2 blemishes on the scorecard. We will look at their scorecard and see how many blemishes are here. I say
Look
that
at
and look
that
at Catrina.
eagle cheese. Yeah, Katrina. Oh, wow. Not even a single bogey. I didn't realize.
Nope.
She's playing so solid.
Bogey free on the Innova course on that front 9 is amazing.
Yeah,
Kristin, just a couple happening. Paige playing super solid as well.
But Katrina with 5 strokes on Kristin and Paige right now. I mean, that's a significant cushion. I know we're only
In round two.
2, but still.
It doesn't feel half bad. For the rest of the card, we see Evelina storming up the leaderboard. Rebecca Cox right behind her. And look at all those 6 downs as well. Maria, Holland, and Missy all shooting lights out as they're about a little over halfway through the course.
Great to see so many women under par, staying competitive. There's me and Madison kind of razzing Kristin. She's not a fan.
But we like her so much.
Oh, man. Thank you guys for joining us on the front 9 here, and check out the back. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
I'm Madison Walker. We're the 2 hot geese. Thanks to GKPRO for the awesome FPO footage.
Honk.